essay that's been ripped from the headlines, you know, they say, but this has been ripped from local headlines. I don't know if you saw the Enterprise, I think it was last week, or maybe the week before, there's something about an abandoned boat.
Oh, yes.
And the guy who abandoned it, the county has had to pay to have the boat taken away. And they're going to charging the guy, and he's supposed to pay back the county. So I happened to stumble down near Myrtle Point, which is where the boat was abandoned. It must have just been like a couple days after it first showed up there. And so that's the genesis of this essay, which is called Ghost Ship. Someone told me she'd been sunk at a nearby marina, and now she's mysteriously appeared in Mill Cove, her once white hull stained and splotched, her anchor line slack, dispirited. She looks to me like a workboat, like she spent her whole life in hard service to some waterman who spent his whole life plowing the bay's bittersweet furrows for its harvest of crabs and oysters. As I sit on a log, half listening to the susurration of high tide slipping and sliding into the reedy stalks of marsh grass, the hard edge of what was softens, blurring into what might have been. I see her flaunting a jaunty, white-plumed wake, dashing out into the Atlantic, then down to the Bahamas. Her captain and crew toss aside their work clothes to don swim trunks and scuba gear. They splash into warm sapphire depths where multi-hued fish help them explore coral reefs and shipwrecks. At night, the boat smiles blissfully, moored among fat yachts and sleek sailboats, her men off somewhere laughing, slugging back exotic rum drinks, singing calypso, dancing the limbo. Sure. And don't you agree? There's some deep hunger at the heart of all matter to be more than, to break free of, whatever constraints its form currently imposes. When we had that big snowfall in March, I found an old tree trunk stranded on the beach, its long dead roots encased in ice which had melted, refrozen, melted again, until crystalline stalactites pierced the sand, growing the tree into a new and watery life it never could have imagined until I came along and saw its inarticulate yearning, its groping to become more than, to break free of the constraints death had imposed on it, just as I have imagined this ghost ship into a whole new existence. And I'm wondering if this might be the gift we humans are meant to bestow on the earth, on each other. Call it Easter or Passover. Call it resurrection or Exodus. Call it imagination or vision or intuition. Call it whatever you will. Each of us can do it. Suppose, for example, you could look at your ornery, obnoxious cousin or brother or boss or neighbor until those hard edges softened and you could glimpse a yearning to be kind or reasonable or generous. Wouldn't that momentarily free someone from slavery to greed or anger or whatever? Or suppose you could look at the earth until the boundaries separating individual objects blurred, and you could no longer even say, there's a pine tree, there's a river, there's a fish. No, because you see the deep hunger at the heart of all these things to be one, living, thriving, pulsing, begetting, being. And if you could do that, wouldn't the earth then smile blissfully, having sailed us away from the ghostly existence we are trapped in to the new and fuller life she has always imagined for us? Wouldn't we all be laughing and singing and dancing then? Perhaps you feel inspired to share your own joyful or wise words with others. The Elizabeth Ayres Center for Creative Writing welcomes anyone who desires to express themselves creatively, no matter how little or how much experience you might have. We offer a wide variety of online workshops and writing retreats, so visit us